And welcome back, everyone. This is Par 73 featuring the peachy Renwood in this Winter Series 2016 match taking place in the third round, I believe. And these two teams have played on the last four maps. Each game going to Vaalbara. Has now lost a player in Eastwind. Meanwhile, the Etherials have gone through some captain changes, and now Renwood is captaining this game and the previous game. This map is Sneer of Cold Command, created by Orlando the Axe, but changed just a little bit by a player named HMP Helicopter Monkey Pilot. He reduced the size of these hills right here, and I think it makes a huge difference in the gameplay. Before they were OP. You basically needed melee units to rush up there to kill anything. And you could keep them safe and protected from any warlocks or mortars that were ground level. But
yeah, he definitely put some TLC on this map. You know, I know what it used to look like before this. I can say I'm not too much of a fan of the layout of this. I always call this a coffin a bull, one of those maps. Everybody go middle and fight over the flag while everybody gets shot at, you know, from the sides. Like,
well, that's why, if you'll notice, the game type is king of the map, and there are about 11 flags on the field, so it definitely welcomes the teams to spread out a bit more on the map. Although if you're spectating and you notice the map, you might notice that all of these flags are closer together than, say, the ones off in the east.
Yeah, this is where, I mean, this is yet another map where it just seems amorphous to me, just the layout of everything, where there isn't really like a north or like a just kind of
right?
Go your directions and KSDD, kill stuff, don't die.
And flanking is illegal. No, it's actually a pretty damn good tactic. But so, what do we have for unit distributions here? Over for Vaalbara, we see Asmodean and Garrick. They have assorted artillery, soulless, Stygian knights, Heron guards. They're going to be moving mid and towards, not that far west, but towards the mid part of the map to control it. Meanwhile, Limp and Kruniak are going to head east. They are pretty isolated from everyone else on the map right now in the northeast, so we'll have to get back there later. Meanwhile, in the middle, Renwood has his own gold pack, and a few soulless off in the rear, along with a sunk white, as well as one more white controlled by Revan in the east.
Now this map, I feel like we actually have a pretty good chance at the start of this because of its king of the map. You know, a lot of these high-ranking guys, they're really good when they stick together as a unit and they have most of their guys in one spot, but they seem to not be nearly as good when they got to split up all over the place and they can't all be supported by one another. So I'm hoping that this one will probably do the best on.
We'll have to see, as you're gonna take some losses mid from your soulless. Kruniak is going to, he started pushing Mouse Leisure's souls over here, but Mal is going to respond with a few pokes from his soulless and group up his melee on the flag. I'm I'm sure he's thinking about facing off. Meanwhile, Garrick is moving through the middle of the map to flank him, while No Master, HMP, and Revan are off in the west. Revan trying to move up on the flank. It seems as if Limp's Mort was unattended. It's now responding and adjusting to that push.
Flag captured.
Looks like Mal is gonna heal the whites over here. You're gonna get some pause.
He had to because those Solus were about to snipe it and explode it near his own men.
And it wasn't a bad time, as Pus can definitely play a game-changing factor, especially on maps where almost all of the units are susceptible to being, so to speak, stunned.
Flag contested.
But over here in the west, we got some action going on. HMP's gonna lose his Heron after recapturing the west flag. And Mouse Leisure is gonna get pinched and popped, losing all of his Solus to one shot.
Flag captured.
More pressure on the flag over here, and Mal's gonna play the smart move and back off.
Contested.
It's really too much coming at him right there from two fairly talented players. And HMP is going to get a shot off, doing some damage, but not able to take away the susceptible Stygians.
So we got, and then in the northwest, we got Revan is going to face off against Limp and see if his Glad Derp skills can outclick Limp.
I see that, and I noticed Revan did pinch Asmodean, but now Asmodean is bringing his attention there, and Revan is trying to pay attention to that Stygian while pressuring Limp, but now he's facing Asmo, and looks like Asmo is going to dodge that Warlock shot, take out some of No Master's Herons. HMP is also going to hit No Master's Herons. Two of them really injured.
They just totally had Asmodean pinched, but then HMP friendly fired his own Herons that were rushing, and I guess they're going to clean them up anyway.
Yeah, and Asmodean able to keep his mortar alive with a block on the Warlock shot. Meanwhile, they're contesting your flags. Looks like Revan, well, his units are responding to those Solus now.
But can you see how they're not really able to support each other that much, and it's really eating into like their success?
They still have a 20% advantage.
Yeah, but it's the best of the match.
I would definitely say it is the closest, as we are halfway in. And you guys are making better decisions keeping your units alive. And Mal is going to just steamroll through mid here. Hopefully he will get out of there in time before Garrick's Mortar Dwarf catches up for your team's sake. But yep, looks like, oh, and he even gets a dud. Looks like the gods are smiling on Mouse Leisure at the moment, as he will work through the mid part of the map. Now you'll notice that the teams have practically switched sides of the map, as Etherials starting in the south have now captured and controlled the northern part of the map, and the remainder of the Vaalbara units and team. Oh, and interrupting me is a huge shot by HMP, bringing that percentage difference back to 10%. But yes, Vaalbara now controls the bottom part of the map after starting top, and after taking one really bad hit, look like they might lose their first match of the day.
Now right here, I'm trying to, in the northeast, I'm trying to get Mal and
contested.
was no master to rush this mortar dwarf
Flag
that's
contested.
Asmodean's, that's only being
Flag
guarded by
captured.
one Heron and like, I don't know,
Flag
8 Thrall
contested.
Elite. So right now I'm kind of yelling at him, why the fuck are you not spreading and rushing that shit? Because he's got a Warlock that's going to come support it. And as you can see, Mouse Seizure is just not quite committing. And as Unknown Henson says, you've got to commit.
Yeah, and they're gonna be able to neutralize your pus, although
There we go.
it almost pusses Asmodean's Warlock, but it's just gonna dud, and it looks like Mal's gonna take a shot. They might have been better off just getting out of that area and reserving their pus in units, as the percentage differential is going to increase plus 15% for Vaalbara, as Kruniak pushes up the west side of the map. The west side.
So now HMP in the middle west flag is trying to fight against
Flag
good old
contested.
Kruniak, and even though he's outnumbered, he's still doing pretty good.
contested.
Kruniak's pulling back, and
Flag captured.
He's keeping him at bay, as if Kruniak did want to push, he would be forced into this small little area,
Captured.
which could spell disaster
Flag captured.
if that Warlock got off an unprotected shot. And HMP is going to take some damage there. Good range by Kroon.
Flag captured.
And we have no kill from that Warlock shot. Meanwhile, hilariously, Garrick will be contesting this flag down here with his Solus, with Freven's Stygians on the same flag. Both players collecting time for their team. It's just funny because the Solus, they cannot do damage to the Stygians unless they were meleeing, which they would lose, and the Stygians cannot do damage to the Solus because they are on impassable terrain.
Flag captured.
it's a stalemate.
Flag captured.
It is a stalemate down there, as Limp's team has an 8-minute flag advantage, 2 flag disadvantage, and more than double the percentage of their opponent. And
Now, I was gonna make a forum post as
contested.
somebody else and see if I could get him to add King of the Balls, where it's just like this, but it's captures balls and you get timed.
Flag contested.
that would be interesting.
Flag captured.
I think that's how one of the free-for-all maps, one of the regular free-for-all maps works on Capture the Flag. I think it's Demise or Raid on the Plains.
Oh, it's King of the Hill with the King of the Ball is what it's called. So maybe you could take
Flag captured.
just place more of those. I'm not sure if I'd let you do that.
So we got Revan, Mal, and No Master triple teaming Limp down here. They might be able to secure this southeast flag, but it might be too little too late, as the flag count is even, but Vaalbara simply has too much of a percentage lead.
30 seconds.
Yeah, the pussyfooting around and not crushing their southeast for so long, when essentially it was just one mortar dwarf and a lock holding off, I don't know, 12 Herons or something, because they had the Thrall Elite with them.
Flag
That should not have
contested.
happened.
Flag
We could have
captured.
possibly won that if
Flag
they would have just
captured.
crushed that shit.
Flag contested.
Possibly.
Captured.
And the game is going to wrap up. Kruniak's Warlock with 18 kills in the northwest. And let's go through the stats here. Looks like Vaalbara won by about 5 minutes time on this 11 flag 12-minute game. We have Limp, who went 8 and 12 with his 29 damage. taking more of a supportive role here. Asmodean, 33 kills, leading his team in damage with 90, and leading the game. Oh, he's also leading. He's leading the game in every statistic. Well, besides survivors, but what does that really matter? And yeah, looks like he was pretty busy this game. Was he fighting in the east or the west? The east, I believe. Correct? Yeah, because that's where he met up with that flank that was unable to encompass him and rush and split apart.
Yeah, Asmo was mostly in the southeast.
And then we have Kruniak with 30 kills, 2 losses, 18 of those kills on the Warlock. He ends the game with 60 damage, lots of cleanup work out here in the west. Then we have Garrick, 25 kills, 11 losses, 25 damage. Also putting in a tremendous effort mid in order to lock it down. Then flanking the southeast, looping around to the southwest, and continuing to push. He was all over the map. And over on Etherials, we have Renwood, 4 kills, 19 losses, and 18 damage. All those losses pretty much coming from your gold pack, which was able to harass the mid flag. It was sad to see that you couldn't get into their back field and cause a little bit more harassment, or get some more, sap some time off some unattended flags. This was the first game where you guys had a player advantage, and it could have worked out a little bit better in that regard.
I was really busy putting Solace on stuff in the south where they could just cause a stalemate, and sort of just trying to look at the whole battlefield and see what was going on. But it's one of those games where sometimes it's just you just let everybody kill whatever they can, and it's just.
And with the match over at this point, I mean, you guys are just looking for good games anyway. You're just trying to have fun, so.
Yeah, I think at this point, we got more experience playing together. We got over our communication issues, and I think we bloodied their nose pretty good on this game. If we had a little bit more cohesion, like that southeast rush. You win as a team and you lose as a team, but I really felt like if Mal would have just rushed that shit, this whole game could have gone our way. Of course, we would have still lost the match.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but, I mean, to sell yourself short on this last game here, I don't think you can. I mean, you were able to put your team in a position where all 4 of your non-captain players, they all got over 10 kills in the game for the first time this game. In the match entirely, that didn't happen for your team until this game, and I mean that's pretty important when you're trying to keep the morale up, and like if your players are getting beat constantly game after game and they're not really killing much, it's almost like they almost might forget how to kill, and you have to be able to take your opponent's units off the map and outsmart them and bounce back in those kinds of situations. And I thought even in defeat here, there is morale victory. So let's look at how your teammates did, man. We got Revan, 18 kills, 24 losses, 43 damage, HMP. Out here he was in the west, I believe, 16 and 8 with 68 damage. Mouse Leisure taking a brunt of the losses for your team, only 35 damage with his 31 losses, but he managed to kill 12 units. I believe it was his units that were getting pinched out here in the east part of the map. by Garrick and Asmodean. And last but not least, No Master, 10 kills, 16 losses, and 18 damage. Let's see how the graphs look here. As it's been trending in the past couple games, you will notice Vaalbara's team line is scoring their kills sooner, faster, dealing their damage sooner and faster, and taking large lead right there in damage. Some big losses must have been felt, because after that the gap remains about the same size between the teams. But anyway, despite all that, Renwood, I would like to ask you, now your team is the only team who has played 4 consecutive matches. By the way, the scheduling went, you guys have played every week. You've had 3 different captains in yourself, Etherials, No Master, and this weekend, today or tomorrow actually, you're looking to rematch the Dapper Dan squad who you played in week 2. Looking forward, how do you think you guys will approach this match? How are you feeling overall? Who do you think will take the captaining reins? And I'm interested in your thoughts on the future for the Etherials. Do you think you guys will get by this next round and potentially your next opponent and the one after that? Let me know what's going on in your head.
Well, I know you were saying that the maps next weekend are pretty damn spiffy to try not to get eliminated this week, so I'm looking forward to, going out there. I've seen a lot of the guys on the other team. I was just looking at their roster, and I think we got a really good chance against them. They look like their players might have around the same skill level that ours do. They might have some more players with 2-team experience than we do. That might be one of the more deciding factors. But I think we could probably do it. We're not going to be apprehensive. We're going to have a plan. We're going to stick to it. Worst case scenario, switch to plan B. I always say if you don't have a plan B, you don't have a plan at all. And it's going to be a lot more interesting of a series. We've got some time to play together. We get a feel for who's good with what kind of units. I'm not going to be asking Mal to rush anybody anytime soon because he apparently it's not in his DNA.
That is not his style. He is a very passive player, I would say.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that's from the free-for-all aspect where, one of the worst things to do is get all your guys killed, before sudden death or something, because, you might have two guys left, but if you still might win. But in 2 teams, it's just not really. I mean, the only thing I really ever see that in 2 teams is if you can have the discipline to have the late game pus, what I'm talking about, where all the shit's hit the fan and everybody thinks all the pus is gone and somebody's got 1 or 2 pus skulls stashed away, saved for that occasion. But we're gonna go out there. We're gonna have a lot of confidence. We're gonna try and do what we've been playing this damn game for over a decade, which is to kill shit and have fun. And I will probably be captaining at least half of them, I would imagine.
Well, there you go, man. Well, definitely good luck to you in your upcoming match. I will definitely be checking it out, and I'll probably be casting it. Perhaps New Mutator will be casting it. Maybe the both of us will. Interesting, because the both of you are on opposing teams, so we'll have to see how it turns out. And also, I'd like to thank you for joining me in this cast, man. I definitely appreciate being able to hear the side of the Etherials story in this match. It was a tough loss. You guys did still decide to stick together and man it out all 5 games, even with the odds heavily stacked against you each game. So I definitely commend your team overall, and Vaalbara showing what they're made to do. Although they are still having some roster showing issues. The previous week forfeiting to the Syndicate because they couldn't field enough players, and this week only having 4 or 5 players. So we'll have to see how they do during the rest of the tournament. And thank you all for watching. This is Par 73, bringing you the Winter Series matches. I hope you enjoyed this cast. I hope you enjoyed this game. And I hope you hop on GatorStorms.net server sometime and play some Myth 2 with all of us. I'm sure it'd be a grand old time.
And you can, if anybody's interested, they can check out the newest Myth HD at tinyurl.com/MythHD131, no space. We finally fixed the Solus. We got some new dwarf model explosions that are super sexy, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the HD battlefield. And thanks for hosting this tournament, Paris. It's running really well, and the map picks are pretty nice.
Thanks, man. And you heard it here. Shameless self-promotion. Yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming, Renwood, and thank you all for watching. Take care, man. I will be checking out your HD units myself. I hope you all give them a look. They're definitely worth it. And I'm excited to see if in the future someone hosts a tournament on default maps only, so I can really get to show them off on stream or through recordings. But until next time, folks, take care and good games.
Peach out.
Game.